Hey guys, it's Timmy, and this is Pro Wrestling Unlimited as we are here on the 27th of December. It's almost 2020. It's the 27th of December 2019 to talk about tonight's Friday Night Smackdown. And boy, was this just a boring ass motherfucker show. I'm just going to say it just like that because that's how I feel. I felt like this show was boring, bad, not good. Now, the six-man tag, I had a little fun with that. Not the post-match, but I had fun with the six-man. Other than that, this show dragged. I thought I was watching a 3-hour Raw. Why the hell did they have to give us the number one contender match 3 times, basically? Why'd they have to tell us it was opening the show? As soon as they said it's opening the show, I go, this ain't AEW. No, it's not. Because AEW does that, where they put their biggest match on first. NXT sometimes does that, but not main roster WWE. So I was like, oh yeah, no, we're not getting this match first. Not in a snowball's chance is that happening. Then when it came up at the top of the second hour, and they're like, oh, it's the singles match. I'm like, no, it's not. So it's like, this show was not that good. But we'll talk about it anyways. Let's see who's here with us in the live chat. We do have a Startle Droid. I hope I said that right. Connor Dunn. Dorian Abercrombie. Jason Dalton. Wayne Montgomery. Daniello Lalima. We've also got, I hope I say this right, Georgian Arturos? I hope I say that right. Sinclair Saturday, Derek Bocek, Henry McKenna Cavallo, and so many more of you. Again, this show was just not that good. I don't know if they thought, oh, it's the last SmackDown of the year. Fuck it, pal. We don't have to put much into this. Let's just give them some campy-ass bullshit. That's how I felt about it. Well, they didn't tease the match 3 times. They teased it twice and then gave it to us at the end of the show like they were supposed to, like we assumed they would do. So, I don't know about saying they teased it twice. And then, I'll get into it. Let's just start. Daniel Bryan is ready basically in the ring when SmackDown starts. Corbin comes out being carried on his throne, and Corbin points out that Bryan and Miz have families, are terrible fathers, and headlined WrestleMania, which is something he hasn't done. He told Bryan to step aside and that he earned this opportunity when he beat Roman Reigns twice, which is something nobody has done since Reigns had returned from having leukemia. Corbin said that he should already be the Universal Champion and be the one to vanquish Bray Wyatt. He said that he shouldn't have to earn this opportunity, this number one contendership, basically. Suddenly, the music of Roman Reigns would hit. And after we wait a few moments, then all of a sudden, the guys that are holding the throne for Corbin, they tried to tell us, oh, they got startled and scared, and that's why Corbin fell off. No, these guys literally, all in unison, tipped it over. Like, gently set it down, kinda. And Corbin takes a bump off. A little front roll. Like, really? Really? That's what we're doing now? Okie dokie. So Roman Reigns all of a sudden shows up and he's behind Baron Corbin at ringside. Hits him with a Superman punch, or doesn't, because the camera was so close you can tell that Reigns' punch did not connect. And they start fighting at ringside. He finally fights off Corbin. Corbin runs away through the crowd. Reigns and Bryan briefly stare at each other, and my first thought was, please don't add Roman. Please don't make it a 4-way, and they didn't. Because they certainly did tease that when Roman and Bryan had their little close stare down. So in the back, Corbin's with his minions, I guess you can say. And he's talking to Adam Pearce about how this isn't fair. He complained about Roman's attack, asked if they're going to do anything about it. He goes, well, you're not even anybody with any kind of say. You're not in charge of anything. You're not going to do anything about it. And Adam Pearce's like, I'll figure it out. I'm going to figure it out. So on commentary, Corey Graves pushed that they should postpone this match to another night because with Roman Reigns here, it's just not fair. And, So then we got a 6-man tag team match. It was the SmackDown Tag Team Champions, the New Day, teaming with the monster among men, Braun Strowman, to take on the Intercontinental Champion, Shinsuke Nakamura, Cesaro, and yes, Sami Zayn. So Kingston caught Nakamura early with an elbow and sent him to the floor. Kingston went for a dive, but Zayn grabbed his legs. Nakamura jumped Kingston from behind. The heels isolated Kingston on their side of the ring. And in a cool spot, Cesaro rocked Kingston with a vicious uppercut on the floor. The uppercut sent Kingston over the announce table into Corey Graves' lap. After a commercial break, the heels were firmly in control. Kingston rocked Cesaro with a drop kick off the second turnbuckle. Cesaro regained control and slowed down the pace with a chin lock. Kingston then fought back and rolled up Cesaro for a near fall. Cesaro fired back with an uppercut for a close 2. Nakamura slowed down the pace again with a chin lock. He applied the abdominal stretch and mocked Big E to his face. Nakamura then knocked Big E to the floor. Kingston attempted to tag, but Zayn grabbed Strowman's leg. Cesaro rocked Strowman with a drop kick to take him out of the match. The heels isolated Kofi on their side of the ring, tried to go for the pin, only got a 2. Big E did make the save. Strowman got a hot tag and finally ran wild. Strowman nailed Nakamura with a splash in the corner. He chased Sami Zayn all around ringside, but then Nakamura kneed him in the face. Back in the ring, Nakamura went for a Kinshasa, but Strowman countered with a clothesline. Nakamura went to hit Strowman with a pancake tray, but Kingston grabbed it and hit Nakamura. Strowman then hit his running power slam and pinned the Intercontinental Champion. If this match doesn't happen at Royal Rumble, I'll be a little disappointed. I mean, not quite, though. They can work doubles. They can both work the Intercontinental title match and work the Rumble. We've seen it in the past. So then after the match. So I liked the match itself. But then you're trying to get dang Braun Strowman over as a challenger to Nakamura and the number 1 contenders and the Intercontinental Championship. And what do? Have this man dance in the middle of the ring. So Big E goes, whoa, don't go nowhere. We know you like to have a little fun. You say everyone's going to get these hands. How about they get these hips? And Strowman shoves Big E into one corner, shoves Kofi into the other corner. The commentaries make it seem like Braun Strowman's mad and going to fight both of these guys. And I'm like, no, he's not. He's clearing the ring so he can hit his little Jimmy Jive. And what did he do? Danced. Not that great. And I can't knock him though because I'm not the best at dancers. But it just, to me, Strowman looked good winning that match, pinning the champion. And then all of a sudden he just came off as the Big Show. Just a geek. Because a lot of times Big Show just came off as a geek comedy act. And that's not what we need from Braun Strowman. Strowman does not need to be the big guy comedy act. No. Please no. So in the back, Kayla Braxton noted that King Corbin saw the trainers. He's fine, but he's refusing to compete tonight because he doesn't want to be attacked again by Roman Reigns. She announced that Corbin is out of the match if he will not compete, and it'll be a singles match, Miz, Bryan, one-on-one. They then recapped from a couple weeks ago, Reigns getting the dog food dumped on him. Then in the back, Sonya Deville's signing some programs. Mandy comes up to her and goes, I got a match, you coming? And she's like, what? You didn't come with me to my match last week. Why should I come to you to your match? What you didn't support me. I'm not supporting you. And Mandy's kind of like perturbed about that. She's like, wait, what? And Sonya's like, I gotta deliver these. If I'm done before your match, I'll meet you out there. So as that goes down, Otis appears behind Mandy Rose. And Otis said, hey, I wanted to give you this present. My mom made it. It's a fruit cake. It's got real fruit in it. I thought you would appreciate it. I'm sorry about last week and the hug. And he's all kind of like sorry about. And Mandy's like, don't worry about it. It's okay. I got my match. I got to go, but thank you. And so she goes for her match and has a match with Carmella. They did announce right before this match did start that Roman Reigns will be taking on Dolph Ziggler during Fox's New Year's Eve special this Tuesday night. But we don't know. What we don't know is the match going to be live from Times Square? Is the match going to be live from some random studio or arena? Or could the match be pre-taped and then just aired on the broadcast? Because that's one of the more logical things. Like, are they going to have a match, set up a ring and have a match in Times Square? I mean, that'd be cool, but I don't know. This match wasn't much to it. You could tell that these girls got like 4 or 5 moves they can do each, and they just kept doing them. A lot of roll-ups, Mostral, cradles, and backslides, and then finally, Carmella hits a super kick and pins her. Then they say, Carmella's on a roll. She's getting a push. She won 2 fucking matches in a row. That ain't a roll yet. A roll is like 3 or 4, buddy. So Sheamus appeared backstage from his... So here's the thing. Aleister Black's got his closet where Sheamus has got his hallway. Why? Sheamus appeared, got another vignette saying that he's bringing a new... He said he's been gone for 9 months and he's ready to wreck shop, basically. He said that he's ready to bring his brand of violence to a new SmackDown. So let me get to the top of the second hour. And it's Daniel Bryan versus The Miz, Universal Championship, no more contendership. And I go, nope, this ain't happening. So Bryan worked over Miz's wrist. Miz fought back. They brawled at ringside with The Miz getting the advantage. Bryan regained control in the ring after a knee attack. The Miz and Bryan then collided in the middle of the ring. As this happened, Corbin's security would run down and attack both men. Bryan and Miz worked together to clear the ring, though. Then, in gorilla position, Kayla Braxton interviewed Corbin. She said, what is this all about? And he's like, well, I already said I ain't going out there and having Roman Reigns attack me. She goes, well, I just want to let you know that Roman Reigns has been informed, actually, to leave the building. And Corbin goes, huh? Light bulb. Wait, Roman's not here? Okay, I'll fight. Little did he know. So, we then learn from commentary, the main event's back on. It will be a triple threat, but in a little bit. So we got a moment of bliss. Special guest Lacey Evans. Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross came out to introduce Lacey.
The song Icky Cross came out too.
Anyways, Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross came out to introduce Lacey Evans. Bliss recapped Evans and Sasha Banks' little thing last week with Lacey Evans' daughter. They said she was only 6 years old. She's a big 6-year-old because my daughter's not that big and she's 6, almost 7. We're 7 next month, but dang, I thought she was like 8, 9 maybe, 8-ish. But anyways, so Alexa and Nikki really didn't say much. It was all Lacey Evans. She noted that Banks crossed the line, and when she heard her daughter yell "Mama," looked up and saw Sasha Banks and her daughter's face, she went into Mama Bear mode and just snapped. She said, if those referees didn't pull me off of Sasha Banks last night, she would not have been walking out of that arena. She said, one thing you don't do is get between a mama bear and her cub. She went on to thank Alexa Bliss for having her as a guest, but said, I'm not dumb. I know what happens on these little talk shows. Eventually, somebody going to get attacked from behind and it ain't going to be me. She then put her mic down, said, I'm going to go to the ring. I got a match. And she did. She had a tag team match. So as she goes down to the ring, Dana Brooke's music hits, but no Dana Brooke. Finally, Dana Brooke comes out, being basically dragged out by Bayley and Sasha Banks. The two are beating on Dana Brooke before finally Lacey Evans goes, oh, light bulb. I need to go help my partner who's getting beat up 2-on-1. Because Sasha Banks already said, you may be a good mom, but you're not a good tag team partner. I mean, look at little Dana here getting beat up. So, all four fight at the top of the ramp. Finally, referees break it up, and we go to commercial. When we come back, the heels are in control. They isolated Brooke on their side of the ring. Banks attacked Evans to draw her into the ring, and this allowed the heels to attack Brooke again. Evans finally did get a hot tag and ran wild. She rocked Bayley with a swinging neck breaker. Evans hit a slingshot elbow and a massive moonsault, which looked pretty impressive, but she kind of looked like she almost fell off the top rope. So what it was is she's standing on like the middle rope. She literally jumps up, does a 180, now on the top rope, and then does a moonsault. Looked good. Almost lost her balance though. After that, Banks broke up the pin attempt. Evans chased Banks around ringside, and Bayley hit Bayley to belly back in the ring. But when Bayley went for the pin, this time Dana Brooke broke up the pin. Evans then went to attack Banks. Banks ducked, and she hit Bayley with the woman's rights. Banks then sent Evans to the floor and locked on. Banks sent Lacey Evans to the floor and locked on the Banks statement on Dana Brooke. Picked up the victory. Correct me if I'm wrong. Let me know in the chat or in the live or in the comments below. I don't think Dana Brooke ever tagged in. Because Lacey hit the moonsault, went for the pin. Sasha broke it up. Bayley went for the pin off the Bayley to belly. Dana Brooke broke it up. I never saw Dana actually get tagged in. I know Sasha threw her on the apron. Sasha tagged herself in. But I don't remember. I could be wrong. I really don't remember Dana Brooke getting tagged in. So in the back, Dolph Ziggler approaches Mandy Rose. Okay, Jason Dalton says she did get tagged in. Okay, I just overlooked it then. So in the back, Dolph Ziggler approaches Mandy Rose. And he's like semi-hitting on her at first, saying that 2020 is going to be a busy year for him. And he asked Mandy about her New Year's plans. And she's like, well, I really don't have any. He's like, what? Someone like you without any plans on New Year's? And then he sees that she's got this cake with her. He goes, wait, do you have a present for me? Were you trying to give me something? And she goes, and he grabs the cake. And she goes, Otis's mom made that. He gave it to me. And he's like, well, it's nothing special. Otis, I think he was giving one to everybody in the locker room. And so he swipes some of the frosting off of his finger and he licks it. He's like, I'm going to test it for you. And he's like, ew, that's not good. And he puts it on the floor and says something about, be careful. You might have a cockroach come out of this. And then he stomps it. And he goes, oh, that's okay. It's just my Jordans. And he's trying to hit on Mandy, but Mandy almost looks disgusted by Dolph. And then all of a sudden, Corbin just runs up and goes, Dolph, I need your help. Come on, I need you now. And he's like, Dolph's like, I'm talking here. And he's like, no, I need you now. And he pulls him away. It's like that buddy when you go to the bar and you're at the bar hitting on some chick and your buddy goes off to play pool. But then he starts talking shit and he gets, some guys at the pool table pissed off and they want to fight him. So then he's got to come back to you and go, bro, I got myself into some trouble. I need some backup. Pulls you away from the chick you're flirting with. Same goddamn thing. It's happened before. I've seen it myself. So, in the back, we again get a nice little promo about from Mustafa Ali. He said he faced some hard times in 2019, but promised that 2020 would be different because his goal is to be a champion. So all of a sudden, backstage, Otis walks up, and he finds that his mama's cake had been stomped and left on the ground. Mandy didn't even have the decency to pick it up and throw it away. No, it was smeared all over the ground, plate still there. Otis picks it up, grabs some of the cake in his hand, kind of crumbles it, looks sad, and the camera fades out. So we get our main event. Finally, Daniel Bryan versus The Miz versus King Corbin. Bryan and Miz attack Corbin at the onset of this match and send him to the floor. Bryan then rolls up The Miz for a near fall. They went to a break, and as Bryan was taking out Corbin with a suicide dive. Corbin recovered after the break and sent Bryan into the timekeeper's area. He rocked Bryan with a clothesline, and hit a choke slam into a backbreaker on The Miz. Bryan and The Miz worked together to hit a series of running drop kicks and knees on Corbin in the corner. Corbin backdropped Bryan onto the floor, but he landed on the apron. He then caught Miz with a huge, nice, perfect deep six. But then Bryan rocked Corbin with a missile dropkick. After a break, Bryan rolled up Miz for a 2. Miz took over and hit a DDT on Bryan. Miz then applied the figure 4 leg lock on Corbin, but Bryan hit a splash on Corbin for a near fall. Bryan turned over Corbin, which reversed the pressure onto Miz, still in the figure 4. Bryan then applied the label lock on Corbin. Miz attempted the skull-crushing finale, but Corbin hit an end of days. Bryan broke up the pin attempt and hit a running knee on Corbin. Ziggler would then run out and hit a super kick on Bryan. Now, I forgot to mention that when the match was finally made and set and done in the main event, they did change it to no disqualification. So Ziggler comes out, hits a super kick on Bryan, no DQ. He then pulls Corbin over on top of Bryan to go for the cover. 1, 2. Corbin gets pulled out of the ring. You think it's Miz. No, it's not. It's actually ding Roman Reigns. So Roman Reigns starts brawling with Corbin. And they brawl. And we go to a break. So when we come back, Michael Cole lets us know, hey, it's basically a singles match now because Roman Reigns and Corbin brawled out of the arena. You couldn't have showed us that? Like, if they brawled out of the arena, then are they in the parking lot? Give us a little kind of snippet. So Bryan caught Miz's leg off of a kick and hit an open hand strike. Bryan hit the yes kicks, but Miz went back to the knee. Miz continued to work over Bryan's knee and leg. Miz then attempted a springboard, but Bryan countered into an armbar. Bryan applied the label lock, but Miz hit his hand. Bit his hand. Sorry, I wrote that wrong. Bit his hand. More like his wrist, but anyways. Bryan then rocked Miz with a hard kick. Bryan went for a running knee, but Miz countered into the skull-crushing finale. Miz then applied the figure 4, but Bryan fought out and applied the label lock for the win. So Bryan will now be moving on to WWE Royal Rumble to take on The Fiend with the Universal Championship on the line. And this is the match we all expected would be happening. So after the match, Firefly Funhouse interrupts. Bray Wyatt congratulates Bryan on his victory. He noted that Bryan is going to have so much fun, but he might not be finished with him. Wyatt wondered if Bryan is going to do whatever it takes to win. Will Bryan let him in? Bryan then leads a yes chant as the show goes off the air. Daniel Bryan, out in that ring 3 damn times, never said a single word on this entire show. Ever. Not once. I don't think Miz did either. We saw Miz twice. So yeah, that was SmackDown. But with that being SmackDown, this being the SmackDown review, before we wrap things up, I want to tell you about something new we've got coming here. It's a new series coming to the channel. It's called PWUnlimited Rank It. Rank It is a new series coming to our YouTube channel in January. Basically, what this is we watch a series of matches that are all tied together, and then we rank them. Each episode in the season will feature different matches, of course. Each episode will be done as a watch-along style, and then after, we will break down the match. After that, once we get to episode 2, we will then start ranking the matches. Once we get to the end of the season, we will then have a full ranking of what was the best match in this series, what was the worst match in this series. Now, as far as Season 1 does go, Season 1, we will be watching and ranking the original TLC trilogy. We've got WrestleMania 2000, the ladder match, the TLC match from WrestleMania or SummerSlam 2000, and the TLC match from WrestleMania 17. Now, as far as when you can watch Season 1, they will all drop ad-free and all together January 1st for Patreon and YouTube member subscribers. If you are not a Patreon or YouTube member subscriber, then episode 1 of season 1 will drop on January 3rd, and then every other episode will come out every Friday after that. Again, if you want every episode at once and ad-free, you can do so by being a YouTube member or Patreon subscriber, and this will be the case every single month. Subscribers will get season 1 all together on January 1st, everybody else on January 3rd. We hope you do like this new series and what we're hoping to do with it. And if you do, we've already got a plan for season 2, so hopefully you want a season 2, because I think season 2 will be really fun. We do have a couple text messages here I do want to check before we wrap it up. Not able to take any calls tonight, though. Having an issue with that. Again, it's doing the thing where I can hear myself, but I can't hear anybody else when the call comes through. So I can check the text messages, though, because we do have a couple here. And if it wants to load, because sometimes it doesn't, looking at the live chat, Avengers fan says, I know Roman was going to come out. It wasn't a surprise, so I didn't care and didn't like the brawl. Yeah, I really didn't either. Henry, the bobblehead giveaway will be Tuesday. Sorry, with last Tuesday being Christmas Eve, got tied up with some family things, and we were unable to do the podcast. Looking here at the text messages. This person here does state. I saw your video earlier about Survivor Series 2020 being in Dallas. So it was reported that Dallas is the front runner for the 2020 Survivor Series. I never said that that was official. So don't take that as official yet, but it's almost a lock. Not 100% yet because nothing has been officially announced. This person says, can you see Miz and Brian becoming a team? Probably not. And this person says 2 questions. How you think will turn babyface 2020? And do you think Edge will be a surprise in the Royal Rumble? I don't get the first one. How you think will turn babyface 2020? It's an open-ended question, like how, who, what? And do I think Edge will be a surprise in the Royal Rumble? Very, 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 very possible. Wayne Montgomery, my Christmas was good. How was your Christmas? I want to say late Merry Christmas to all. Thank you guys for supporting us here on Pro Wrestling Unlimited. Everything we do is all because of you guys, the supporters, the subscribers, the watchers, the fans, the callers, the texters, everybody that comments. It's not, if it wasn't for you guys, we would not be able to do what we do. So again, I want to say thank you for supporting us here at Pro Wrestling Unlimited. We will be back next Monday talking Monday Night Raw. And don't remember, next, what's the first? Wednesday. If you are a Patreon or YouTube member subscriber, you will get every episode of season 1 of Rank It next Wednesday. Brian Medina with a $2 super chat donation. He says, will you do Rank It for Impact in AEW? Well, there's nothing really to rank in AEW. Like, what am I going to do? What series of matches? The Young Bucks and the Lucha Bros? I wasn't a fan of those matches. They were just spot fest matches. Now, Impact. There are some old TNA matches I'm thinking of. So that's not out of the question. But as far as AEW goes, AEW has not been around long enough to quote-unquote do a retro review of. Because to be honest, we're going to do these Rank It matches, these series. So Rank It is going to be basically our version of a quote-unquote retro review. And if we've already reviewed a match on our channel, why are we going to go back and re-review it? We've reviewed every AEW show. So there's no reason for us to go back and do it, at least not right now. Maybe in a couple of years when some of those matches become, legendary and iconic, which they really haven't had any yet. So right now, AEW, not in consideration for Rank It. I know Season 1, we've already told you, is TLC. Season 2 has to do with WrestleMania. And I do have, like I said, ideas as far as a series of Impact matches that I do want to possibly take a look at. So with that, I want to say thank you guys for joining me here tonight to talk about Friday Night Smackdown, a kind of boring show. Thank you to everybody who watches later right here on YouTube and everybody who listens on podcast services all around the world. Have a good night, guys. We'll be live again on Monday.